Hi, and thank you for watching us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and consider other important aspects of working for yourself, running a small business, being self-employed. So as part of our bite-sized video series, showing you how to use your Quickbooks software, today I'm going to show you how to allocate the transactions from your bank feed. So before I do that, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our channel. That way you'll easily be able to refer back to the information if you need to, as well as being able to find other information on a whole host of different topics, all aimed at supporting you in your self-employment. And if you pop onto the playlist section of our channel and look for QuickBooks, you will find the other bite-sized demo videos that we have available. So back on then to how to allocate the transaction. So I'm just going to jump into the demo software. And here we are in the dashboard. So you can see in our current account, we have a live bank feed. And so I'm just going to click into that and I'm going to show you how to allocate the transactions. Now, it's quite straightforward, but you do need to just really consider what you are trying to achieve. So you will remember from other videos that the important thing that we're trying to achieve to have accurate accounts is that each transaction needs to be allocated to a category, an appropriate category or nominal code. Same thing, different terminology. And we need to have the VAT accounted for if you're VAT registered. So again, what you will remember is it's acceptable to categorize a transaction directly to the category, or in the case of, for example, customers or suppliers where we need to track how much that we owe, we use the debtors or the creditors accordingly. And when we raise an invoice, for example, to one of our customers, the invoice deals with categorizing that transaction in the accounts and dealing with the VAT. So at the point that the customer pays you, you're simply moving items on your balance sheet from your bank account to your debtors in that scenario. So the reason that I just wanted to briefly recap on that is it's really important because so from that example, you can see if we've already raised an invoice, a sales invoice to your customer, we've already accounted for the sale in the accounts, and we've already accounted for the VAT if you're VAT registered. So therefore, when the customer pays you, if you then categorize that directly to sales, you can see how a duplicate transaction would arise, and you would pick that up. Again, I won't go into this in detail because we've talked about it in other videos, but you would create a duplicate transaction, and the way to make sure that that doesn't happen is to regularly review your debtors and your creditors list. Because if you have, for example, a customer outstanding on your debtors list and you think sure that they paid, or you send them a statement, they say that they paid, then the first thing to check would be, did you categorize it directly? So it's important. The more often you allocate your transactions, the easier it will be to keep on top of it. So you can see here some green highlighted transactions with green banners. So this is QuickBooks trying to be helpful. So it's saying, actually, we've had this money in and we've got an invoice outstanding. So I think that it's probably for this. And the same here for this bill. And you can see further down, we've got a rule, and we'll cover that in a different video, but that helps you to ensure consistency. So to say when a transaction comes through for X, Y, and Z, this is where I want it to be categorized to. Now, the important thing to remember is if this is a rule, that is something you've set up, but a lot of the green flags are QuickBooks trying to help you. So it's still important to check, because what you've got to imagine is you've got somebody sat over your shoulder saying, oh, I think that we've got an invoice for this outstanding. So it's not saying that it's correct. It's just suggesting to try and save you time. So in this scenario, we have we have the invoice that it's suggesting, and we've already checked and we know that's correct. So we're going to simply just match. So now on this invoice here, on this receipt, sorry, we know that there's an invoice for that value, but it's not suggesting a match. And if we click here, so we can go find match, and that will bring up the outstanding invoices. Now, an important thing to notice here is you can see that the date range is automatically only showing you approximately 3 months before the money came in. So if we change that date to 2022, you can see now that is why that invoice wasn't automatically matching, because it was dated more than 3 months ago. So we just need to change that date, and then we can click that we want to allocate this £1,800 to this invoice, and we can save this. So those ones, you can see, really straightforward. We have here the same on a purchase. We have a purchase invoice that is flagging up that it thinks that it's the match. If we click on the transaction and open it up, and we can see, yes, that bill is Air Express, and that is who it's come from, because the bank detail shows us effectively the description on your bank statement. So we're going to match that one too. So those ones are straightforward. So you can see this is how we deal with the transactions when we've already raised a sales invoice, or we've already entered a bill or a purchase invoice. So now we're going to look at some items where we haven't entered a bill. So for example, here we've got, if we click on this line for this £41, now the bank detail is parking. So this is a car park charge that we need to enter. So you can enter a bill for that. There's no reason that you can't. But there's not really any need to. So we're obviously wanting to do our transactions as efficiently as possible. So if you've entered a bill, that's fine. You'll match that the same way as the others. But if you want to categorize it directly from the transactions, then we just do that here. So we just want to enter the category, travel expense, and if we're VAT registered, we'd enter the appropriate per the receipt, and it will always ask whether you want to sort of default that, and you can say yes or no, depending on whether it's you expect that always to be the case. And then we're going to do add. So here, so you can see we're not matching it to a transaction, we're adding a transaction. So that is an easy way to ensure that you don't inadvertently categorize directly a transaction which you will have an invoice for. Some people find it easier to just, even though it's quicker to categorize directly from the bank feed, they find it difficult to keep having to think about whether they're doing a bill or a categorizing directly, especially if you're using some sort of software to use photo recognition to send your invoices through. So as I say, there's no problem with either a bill or a categorization direct. Just need to make sure that you don't duplicate and do both. So that's how we do the categorization direct, and would be the same on the money received. So this here is going to be, I'm going to say that this is a transfer from another account, just to show you how to do that. So if we click on the transaction, so you can see it's defaulted here to categorize, which it will default to if it hasn't got a suggestion. We do find match, you remember to look at what invoices or bills that we have, but we want to record this as a transfer. So it's automatically going to ask you which account it was transferred from, and you can see we're in the current, and we're going to say this account just because it's already set up. So we click there and we add that. Now in this scenario, because it's a demo account and it's not a live transfer, it's not giving us the option to see if it was a live transfer from, say, for a reserve account that also has a live feed. then it would show you that it's pairing it. It would say, yes, I'm pairing it with this transaction. And if you accept that pairing, it will automatically allocate the transaction in the other bank account for you. So if we add, that is automatically going to add that transaction. Now, say, for example, you realize, oh, I've just clicked that and it was the wrong thing to do. You see these tabs here. For review is where we default. If you click on categorize, so we say, no, actually, that's not what we want to do. If we just click on undo, and then we go back to for review, you see that that transaction is there, and we can do that correctly as to what we needed to do. So hopefully this helps to give you an overview on how to allocate your transactions in your QuickBooks software. You can see that obviously if you have the bank feed linked, then it does make life far more simple. It's much easier to avoid errors on keying of amounts and missing transactions. So thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.